Think you know every shortcut on the map? Think again. Speedrunners are always 2 steps ahead, ready to defend their precious records at any cost. These players obsessively hunt down the tiniest skips, ridiculous shortcuts and split-second techniques to dominate the game. Today I'm bringing you 10 of the most unusual, precise and downright insane tactics I've uncovered. Buckle up, this is going to get wild. Without any delay, let's dive right into skip number 10. It's a big, nasty trick on the rather compact short race circuit at Hirochi Raceway. This skip was first pulled off by Headshot00 3 years ago, and it's still blowing minds. Here is how it looks. A quick 180 right after checkpoint, cause it's just faster than driving normally. This one showcases the extreme dedication of BeamNG speedrunners. Seriously, how do you even find this stuff? Drop your theories in the comments, I'd love to hear them. What's even crazier is that since this trick was discovered, the record time was dropped by a whole 5 seconds, with a sub 40 finish just around the corner. I suggest you give this map a try yourself, just don't forget to get those specific car builds. That was cool, but we're just getting started. At number 9, we've got an old school trick from the field run scenario. And this one is all about airtime. The strat is simple in theory, but tough in practice. It demands precision, speed, and a seriously daring mindset. Originally discovered by Crimsonify, this jump still holds a special place in the archives. Why? Well, ever since updates 2 years ago, leaving the other car too far behind causes you to fail. But back then, this massive jump cut out a huge chunk of the course. That's unreal, especially in the game with BeamNG's unique physics, where one tiny mistake can mean the difference between a finish and a fail. If you are loving these crazy skips so far, smash that like button and let's keep countdown rolling. Some absolute jaw droppers are coming up. Number 8 is the slithery drift short. And this skip is pure gold. It's an old challenge located in Italy, and you'd think with all these turns there is nothing special. But there is a hidden skip that's easy to spot but so hard to pull off. Most of the time with this hardcore jump you just fail with no way to save it, even in perfect run. Discovered early on, only a handful of speedrunners were bold enough to use it. And the runs are still there on speedrun.com, sadly only in the archived version. At the 7th spot we have one of the more recent skips. Found and firstly performed by Planet Extreme, this collect mountain skip featured on the Grip map V2. The problem of this particular scenario is simple. How do you get all the checkpoints while still going fast? The answer is simple. Skip several and push to the top. One there, use all your IQ and get that perfect setup. And here it is. Perfect drop into 2 checkpoints. This one saves a lot of time, and overall it's pretty easy to perform if you know what you are doing. When it was found, I was laughing like crazy, cause this is something only speedrunners find, and I believe that something else will be found on that very map, especially with such a dedicated community. Alright, let's switch it up a bit with something you don't usually see in BeamNG, wall hugging. On the old mountain race map at West Coast, it turns out crashing is actually the better strategy. Normally this would mess up your shaft, but thanks to some weird construction on this specific car, it's totally fine. You could still wreck it trying, but it's way harder to do here than on most maps. As far as I know, there is nowhere else in BeamNG where this trick works quite like this, making it a perfect pick for number 6. Moving on to number 5. It will be opened with a beautiful skip. Basically, ignore the whole map. Why try harder when you can do smarter? Funny, with all the madness that this particular skip opened up in the speedrunning community, just recently a rising star of speedrunning, Haiku, wait, no, that is not right. Wulp managed to beat everyone by driving through. That was pretty fun to watch, and it's generally interesting that a well-used cut was beaten by almost driving normally. This skip is a fantastic example of the creativity in speedrunning, and it's a reminder that even a perfect shortcut might not be the fastest forever. At number 4, we have a pretty simple yet not common strategy in BeamNG speedrunning – respawn cut. Basically, sometimes respawning is much quicker than trying to turn, or in this case, trying to climb and turn. The problem with this strategy overall is simple. Usually game will get you penalty seconds for using it, and it's a fail sentence for most of the runs, but not in the leap of faith scenario. Haiku managed to use this tactic recently and beaten Serzari by 0.2 seconds. Funny that the previous holder was saying that he lost 0.2 at the end, and it's the reason he was beaten. Make sure to check my video about the history of this map. And our top 3 kicks off with Taken Treasure. This map has been overlooked for ages due to its RNG and unreliable police spawns, but thanks to my recent involvement, it's back on the speedrunning scene. After lots of testing, Planet Extreme discovered a unique strategy – spawn manipulation. You see, police here spawns depending on how far is the player, which is totally normal, but for some reason it actually uses the player's camera to judge the distance. So if you switch to bird's eye view, the police simply stop spawning. Pair that with a weirdly efficient route and it's pure speedrunning genius. With the effort put into mastering the skip, I wouldn't be surprised if Planet holds onto this record for a long time. This is probably the most unique viewer experience I had in speedrunning. In second place we have something that I have already talked about quite a bit. Skip that was found by YouTuber and speedrunner Skill. They managed to somehow find out that this particular post didn't have any collision, only the top part. This led to some unique interactions due to the fact that it was the perfect height to remove everything from the truck. This particular skip reduces overall time on this pretty long map by a whole 2 minutes, from 6 to 4. Isn't that beautiful? And now for the top 1. The unreal skip that is so broken it must be used in every run to even have a chance to win. Skip that had its own evolution. Skip that is presented in the campaign Senseless Destruction. Map 3. The bridge. It's actually pretty fun. With a very heavy car, you must cross a very funky bridge. But speedrunners were not really into that 20-second waste, and someone managed to find a very unique skip. You see, you don't actually need to cross the whole bridge. Just stop almost at the start, right behind those 2 poles, and it will count. And this is how time on that map was dropped to 3 seconds. Now, 3 seconds is already very strong, but speedrunners wanted more. I'm personally responsible for finding the next evolution of this bug. You see, if you just go to the right and hit the pole, it will count. And that dropped time to an unreal 1.6 seconds. But wait, there is more. While working on my segmented run with Haiku, he managed to find another unreal thing. The third evolution of the skip. You don't actually need to drive forward, just drive slightly back and stop. And this is how the timer dropped to an unreal 1.2 seconds. Also, make sure to check my segmented run. It's ridiculous. And that was it. 10 places for 10 cool and pretty unique strategies for all of you to enjoy. If you think that some other strategy should have been included, make sure to comment. Would love to check those out. And the usual, don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm trying to get 1000 and get into BeamNG's creator Discord, so every single one will help. And make sure to keep an eye out on the channel. I have a bunch of ideas and I'm ready to deliver the juicy BeamNG content.